Hello, people. It's Tuesday once more, and here I am. Today I'm going to discuss the bald eagle. Um, it's one of my favorite birds, and I don't know when you see it fly or even just roosting. It's a majestic bird. It's big. It captures your attention, and I've seen quite a few of them. Uh, Mainly when we lived out west in Saskatchewan and Alberta, they were all over the prairies. You could see them. Bald eagle and golden eagles, which are magnificent as well. Um, and also, I saw them down in Yellowstone, and they're termed to be a sea eagle because of their affinity with water, mainly because their main food supply is fish. Traditionally, I should say, traditionally, because I saw them out on the prairie and down in Yellowstone, um, mainly eating carrion. There'd be a bison down and rotting, and there'd be the eagles, there'd be wolves, there'd be crows, and they would take the body apart. And that's what they and now also they're noticing that they will hunt in open areas, and they go after rabbits and small game like that. I mean, the real problem that they're having, of course, is habitat loss, thanks to us. Um, so it's a sea eagle, and the other thing, other than open waters, you will always see them in very tall, old growth trees. You can down in Nova Scotia or British Columbia, and there they are in these big trees. They like the notion of height, and I guess it's to kind of keep an eye on their area. Um, so the whole idea is then, when you're looking at these guys, they're big birds. I mean, they can be around a meter in length, and we're not even talking really the tail there. I mean, if you put everything together, it's a pretty big bird. They have wingspans between 2 and 3 feet. I mean, that's 6 and 9 feet of wings. They can attain speeds just in flight between 60 and 70 kilometers. That's pretty fast for a bird that size. And when they make a dive, now, you see falcons and stuff, and they come like straight down like a bullet. These guys do more of an angle type thing, and you do that to grab a fish mostly. They can hit 120 to 160 kilometers an hour doing that. You don't want to get hit by one of these guys when they're coming down. The females are 25% bigger than the males, which is usually not normal, because in a lot of birds, they're either the same size, or the male will be a little bit bigger, but not here. The eagle is 25%, which is rather a large bird. They're all over kind of our area. They live about 20 years in the wild that we know of. The problem is about 50% of them will not survive their first year. So even if the litter is 2 or 3, maybe 2 of them are not going to make it. So it's really difficult with habitat loss and possibly food loss to really keep these birds going. Although you can find them virtually all over North America. Not all over the United States. They do go down even into Mexico, but they're mostly known from the northern states and throughout Canada and Alaska. They used to be endangered, like the falcons and everybody else, but they've had a comeback, thanks to a lot of people. Now, I guess this is the good news. They're only threatened, but at least they're here. And the thing is, what I see is we have it on Beaubear's Island. Right here, we have pretty much every year, and I'm assuming it's the same family, given 20-year lifespan. They come back every year, nest, lay their eggs, have their fledglings, and come winter they go south, I guess, to Mexico and take up the sun. Maybe a little beer too, I don't know. What fascinates me about all of these big birds is the skeleton. Because when you look at the skeleton, you are looking at a reptilian dinosaur theropod skeleton. There's very little difference between a T-Rex and a chicken. And if you look at something like an ostrich or an emu with these big ancient birds, you're seeing direct links to the dinosaurs. And the fossils of the bald eagle go back 30 million years. Humans weren't even thought about at that point, and yet eagles were flying around, pretty much just like we have them today. The biggest problem, again, is the interaction between them and us. They don't like human activity. So they're going to be in places that are fairly remote, to be left alone, to feed, to reproduce, and just, be left alone. The thing is, like even on the island where you have boating and, you have people walking around, as long as you're quiet, especially on the island, as long as you're quiet, you're not moving fast or anything like that, there is a possibility, and I always say that, a possibility of at least catching the nest, if nothing else, and maybe seeing a bird in it. The experience that I've had is, especially when I was doing my geological studies of the island and walking around the island, I'd start at the dock, go down to the Tickle, come back on the northwest, I'd be tired about halfway, and I'd sit on a stump or something. And a lot of the times, not most of the times, but a lot of the times, all of a sudden, on the sides of me, an eagle would come flying out and go kind of halfway across the river, and then turn around, and all of a sudden it's looking at me, and it comes back at me like that and flies right over my head, and it's like, whoa. My prayer at that moment is, don't drop anything. But I always wonder, they know I'm there, and I'm wondering if it's their curiosity, who are you and what are you doing? And as long as I'm sitting there, I guess they feel, okay, no threat. But again, it's like with everything. As long as you participate in nature according to nature's ways, not human ways, but nature's ways, you see more. Because I was surprised by a fox one day on the island. It knew I was there. I didn't know it was there. But this is the whole idea. So we are really in a position with the eagle of being blessed, really, to have this in our presence on the island. And again, it's a bird, but it's a great bird. And come out to the island and see if you can see it, or take your boat out on the northwest and see if you can see it. I remember once, though, and this was down in Berwick, down near Sussex. I was sitting in my living room, and an eagle came. I had a woods in front of my house. An eagle came right over the house, and I went, cool. So I kind of went to the back door to see where it went. We had a graveyard next to the house, and big white pines. No, jack pines. Big ones, though. And the eagle was up on the top. Guess he figured, I'm the biggest one here. Well, out of nowhere, crows showed up. And you see this, and I saw this in Yellowstone, where a crow, which is a little bird compared, it'll go up to it, but a number of them, safety in numbers, will go up to it and just chase the eagle away. And that's what happened here. 20 or so crows showed up and chased the eagle out of the neighborhood. It was an amazing thing to watch. When you're out there, you never know what you're going to see, and a lot of times you're going to be surprised. So keep that in mind. Till next time, take care.